Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
All righty, welcome everybody. It is the one, the only, the Watchdog on Wall Street show. All right. I'm going to start off the program today. My producer, John, sent me a story this past week about a young lady, 93 years old, that got taken by some investment con artists who happened to work at none other than J.P. Morgan. Got the story, but then guess what? I started getting emails from everybody all over the country. Chris, did you see this? Did you see this story? Have you seen this? He said, you know what? I'm going to talk about this story on the program. And I wasn't going to start off the show with it, but then I found myself this past week. I was relaxing, couldn't get to sleep, and there was a show on Netflix, movie on Netflix. It's titled I Care a Lot. And basically the movie is about this evil company that goes and gets senior citizens committed to nursing homes, and then they proceed to take all of their assets away and steal from them. I'm watching this show. In the entire program, there is nobody, not a single character is likable. I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, if anybody did this to one of my loved ones, yes, I'd have to go most certainly Old Testament on them, and you wouldn't see them anymore. Let's just leave it at that. They were just doing evil things to senior citizens. And I went back, and I was looking through the myriad of stories and columns that I've written over the years. And we've covered elder abuse and elder fraud. And for a while, down in the state of Florida, there were regular free dinner, free lunch scaminars that these schlock brokers and big brokerage firms would run, and they would take senior citizens. They used to have designations, special fake designations that people put on their business card, certified senior advisor, all this BS. And we fought against it, and we fought against it, and we fought against it. And hey, we had some success, but the reality is that I'm not on all the time. The stories that we cover here on the Watchdog on Wall Street show, you're not going to see on the CBS Evening News, NBC, ABC, Fox News. They're just not going to cover it. But anyway, this story, it was lengthy. It was in Bloomberg. And it chronicles the plight of this woman and this money that her family had made. 93 years old. And two of her grandsons working on Wall Street. Again, she put them up, paid for their college, put them up in New York City in apartments. They're working at one firm. And then all of a sudden the firm recognizes that grandma has some money. Grandma has some money. And all of a sudden they get a big signing bonus to come over. Why? Well, guess what? They're going to manage grandma's money. And they did all sorts of unsolicited trades, all sorts of churning in the account. Wouldn't even let her have access at certain points in time to her checking account. She was denied. Raided her safe deposit box. I can go on and on and on. And the funny thing is, again, this is a family issue. You had other members of the family that didn't want to do anything about it. They wanted to let it go. No, but she didn't. She went after her grandsons, and she went after J.P. Morgan because J.P. Morgan knew exactly what they were doing. I wrote a column several years ago, and I'm going after the big firms today. J.P. Morgan's mission statement. Oh, they love their BS mission statements. Our integrity and reputation depend on our ability to do the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing. So what is the right thing over at J.P. Morgan? The right thing over at J.P. Morgan, I guess that mission statement is accurate. The right thing at J.P. Morgan is to make money for themselves. Oh, it wasn't easy ripping off Grandma, but you know what? We did the right thing by J.P. Morgan, and we're just going to go ahead. We're going to keep doing it again and again and again. Goldman Sachs, their mission statement: no financial incentive or opportunity, regardless of the bottom line, justifies a departure from our values. What are those values, Goldman? Oh, you mean when you craft securities that you know are going to lose whoever buys them, your clients' money, and you make money selling those securities, and then you turn around and you make money shorting those securities, so when your clients lose, you can make even more. Morgan Stanley's mission statement: the talent and passion of our people are critical to our success. Together, we share a common set of values rooted in integrity and excellence. Merrill Lynch, the interests of our clients must come first. Right. Sure. More often than not, we just know that that's not the case. I remember seeing in There Will Be Blood, Daniel Day-Lewis plays this oil man. And there's a scene towards the end of the movie where he is, I think it was his nephew. His nephew dared to get into the oil business and challenge him. And he says, I have a straw, and my straw will reach all across the room into your milkshake. And I drink your milkshake. I drink it all up. Yep, that pretty much describes Wall Street and their attitude toward you. It does. They're there to drink your milkshake. Yeah, I been doing this for a very long time. If you're new to the program, and I highly recommend you get to our website, look at Watchdog University, look at my columns, in particular, look at Wall Street fraud, look at all of the things that we have covered and gone over throughout the years here on the program. Elder fraud in particular. You know what's truly sad is that they come up with numbers every year for the estimated dollar amount of senior citizens, how much they got ripped off over the course of the year. And I've said again and again, that number is always wrong. One of the reasons why that number is wrong is many senior citizens, after they get taken, they're so embarrassed they don't want to tell anybody. I can't tell you what it does to their overall health either. My longtime listeners know we did I'm trying to remember the year now. It had to be 2008, 2009. We did a sting operation. Remember that show, Inside Edition? Remember Watchdog on Wall Street, Inside Edition? We did a sting operation where we had one of the major firms going after senior citizens, getting them and putting them into high commission annuity products. It was awesome. I mean, we had the hidden cameras set up in the room. I loved it. I had a great time doing that. And again, the senior citizen we used was an actress playing a part. And everything that we've done here is to try to educate you. Listen, people, I get it. I understand there are some evil people out there. There are. So it was difficult for me to watch that film on Netflix. The acting was phenomenal. These people were just downright evil. I'm sure many people watch it and be like, that's just not this is not true. It is. It is. There are people out there that just believe that you're there for the taking. Actually, in the film, it was described as such. The woman who was in charge of the company that was ripping off the senior citizen said there's two people out there. There's the people that take, and then there's the people that get taken. And in her mind and in her partner's mind, there was nothing wrong with what they were doing. Do you understand that I've been around people like that, executives that think like that feel like that? When I started my career on Wall Street, they're out there. You need to understand who you're doing business with. You also have to understand that everything in life, we say it week in, week out, everything in life that has meaning, value, and worth involves work, time, and effort. There's no quick fixes out there. When it comes to senior citizens, more often than not, it's not them trying to get rich. It's more or less preservation of capital. And I explained there's the two best types of bait for the investment con artist, the one that's trying to take from you, the predator that's out there. The two types of bait that these predators use more often than not. Obviously, there's greed and fear. Greed and fear. That is what these predators use to lure you in. I want to remind everybody, we have been at the forefront of uncovering frauds, scams, ripoffs. If you've listened to this program, you would have known. About Madoff. People were sending me his account statements. And they were ridiculous, and I knew right away that it was a scam. One after Alan Stanford. I can't tell you how many we have uncovered, how many people we have helped out. That's what we're here to do. Our account repair kit, which is one of the first things that it's before I had a radio show. I started giving out, we were helping out people that were scammed by Jordan Belfort, Wolf on Wall Street. You know how aggravated it makes me right now that they're turning him to some kind of celebrity? They're bringing him on news stations to comment. Do you understand what he did to people? I do, because I dealt with the aftermath. We were there helping these people out. Get the help you need. Send us an email. Give us a phone call. We will tell you. We will tell you what you are getting into, whether or not it is legitimate or not. Do not be afraid. Do not be embarrassed if you feel like you've been taken. The sooner, the better, people. Don't prey on it. Don't wish that things are going to come back, because that's not going to work. I'm sorry, it's not. And I'm not being blasphemous here, okay? We are here to help you with this. Get to our website, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Watchdogonwallstreet.com. Go there, okay? Sign up, personal CFO program, account repair kit. Call us, our podcast, anything. We are here to help you. Watchdogonwallstreet.com. That's watchdogonwallstreet.com. Or give us a call, 800-471-5984. Number again, 800-471-5984. We'll be back.
I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things
Bringing America financial freedom one listener at a time. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
You know, the column I wrote several years ago, Time to Get Medieval. There was a scene in the film Pulp Fiction where Marcellus Wallace, just say that very bad things were happening to Marcellus, and Bruce Willis came and saved the day, even though they were both enemies. And Marcellus mentioned that he's going to send his boys and come back and get medieval on these crooks. You know, we dealt with financial fraud and financial scams in the past much better than we do today. Today, they pay a fine and they get away with it. White-collar crime pays in the United States. You go back 3,700 years, the Code of Hammurabi, which was the law of Mesopotamia. If anyone violated the terms of any financial contract, they were put to death as a thief. Mesopotamia had a very vibrant commodities market and futures at that time. In Europe, in Catalonia, a banker who went under? No. They didn't get bailed out. There was no TARP money back then. The failed banker was humiliated by the town criers who shouted the facts of the failure in the public squares. The banker had to live on nothing but bread and water until he paid off his depositors in full. If he was unable to pay back those depositors in a year, he would be executed. Now, hey, no, you get a bonus. You might get fired like they did at Wells Fargo, but that's okay. You walk away with over $100 million, and then eventually you get a job working at a hedge fund somewhere. Also, in Catalonia as well. If you got caught lying about your books, fudging the numbers, that too would make you put you to death in that one. Back in 1947, because again, I've been calling for the breakup of these big banks for a long time. 1947, the United States government, now wait for this, the top 17 investment banks. They sued the top 17 investment banks for violating antitrust laws, which in essence, collusion. The Justice Department alleged that the investment firms had created an integrated overall conspiracy and combination that began in 1915, was in continuous operation thereafter. This is where they developed a system to eliminate competition and monopolize the cream of the business of investment banking. Yeah, there were 17 banks and they went after them back then. Look at it now. Look at how big they've got now. They've become omnipotent. We'll talk a little bit more about monopolies a little bit later on in the program. I do want to talk about the markets as a whole, getting a lot of questions out there in regards to bubbles. What's a bubble? Are we in a bubble? Is it bubbly? You remember that? What was that? Was that called Mr. Bubbles? Was that the bubble bath stuff that I remember back when I was a kid? Mr. Bubbles! It was a treat. Are we in a stock market bubble? I've seen stock market bubbles. Been around stock market bubbles. It's interesting. Ray Dalio from Bridgewater Associates put out a piece this past week talking about bubbles. And his attitude and the way that he looks at bubbles very similar to the way that we look at things. Number one, how high? How high are prices relative to traditional measure? Are prices discounting any sort of unsustainable condition? How many new buyers are coming into the market? How broadly bullish is market sentiment? Are purchases being financed by high leverage? And have buyers made exceptionally extended forward purchases? Now, what is all this stuff that you're talking about, Markowski? You're talking Greek. I'm not trying to talk Greek. Basically, let me put this together for you. There are certain areas of the market, if you take all of these things into consideration and you compare it to other points of time in history, where one could say, guess what? Things are getting a little frothy. Without a doubt. There's no doubt about it. However, with that being said, there are other areas out there that offer value. Again, what did we talk about last week on the program? About rotating assets, taking a profit, taking some money off the table. Yes, you may want to hold on to that company that's done extraordinarily well for you, but it's okay to make the position a little bit smaller and go elsewhere. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com, WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Get your financial preparation done the right way. Sign up for our personal CFO program right there at the site, WatchDogOnWallStreet.com, or give us a call, 800-471-5984.
Taking Wall Street's liars, crooks, and cheats out behind the woodshed. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street.
During the break, John, my producer, looked up Mr. Bubbles, and guess what, guys? They're celebrating their 60th anniversary. So hey, I was down with Mr. Bubbles in the second decade, okay? Showing my age a little bit. But anyway, welcome back. And again, I have to go. I have to go to my emails. I have to go to the phone calls. When we get a lot about a single topic, about an issue out there, I'd like to cover it here on the program. I got to remind everybody, we're on it all over the dial, on 250 stations around the country every weekend, but we're on at different times. So I can't do a call-in program. The way you get in contact with me, just contact me. Contact me. People couldn't believe it this past week. They're like, you answered the phone? I'm like, well, if the phone is ringing and there's nobody there to pick it up, I'm just not going to let it keep ringing. I'm going to pick it up. If I can't get to it, leave a message. If nobody there answers the phone, leave a message. We will get back to you. That's what we do. Anyway, a lot of people asking questions about SPACs, and I have talked about them here on the program. And I was giving it some thought, how to go about explaining these special purpose acquisition companies. That sounds official. You know, Wall Street loves making themselves sound smart. They love making themselves sound smart. Oh man, that was that line in Wall Street where Gordon Gekko was making fun of all the Ivy League types, and he was City College, and they're all basically kissing his butt at this point in time. And he was brighter than they were. Yeah. Anyway, these special purpose activities, I look at it in terms of. Do you remember Wimpy from Popeye? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's a SPAC. That is what a SPAC is. People are giving money to these companies that say, give us your money and we're going to go buy something. We don't know what we're going to buy, but I'm awesome. I'm brilliant. You give me $300 million and we're going to buy something. I'm not making it up. Colin Kaepernick has his own SPAC. I think it's a couple $100 million. And he's going to buy companies that have to do with social justice. I'm not kidding. I'm not. And, we're seeing these SPACs purchase companies. Let me give you an example. This past week was a new electric vehicle company called Lucid. It's coming out. And it looks like a pretty nice product. I haven't looked into it far enough. But the SPAC that had the money purchased the shares at around $15 a share. Now, again, the company, the Lucid, it would be public. It gets rolled into the SPAC. It allows for companies to avoid all sorts of regulatory issues that they had to deal with before when they went public as an IPO. The shares of the company went, I don't know, it was like 40, 50, way the hell through the roof. And I'm saying to myself, why in God's creation, if the people over at Lucid were selling their stock with their company at $15 that day, you're going to pay $40 that same day. It's beyond dumb. It really is. at some point in time, again, I talked about, and I have great empathy, okay, and I get great anger. I get pretty darn angry, okay, when we deal with senior citizens and the ripoffs and the scams and the cutters of people taking advantage. But I'm sorry, okay. You get caught with greed, guess what? You're going to get burned. You are going to get burned. You lose money in a SPAC. You lose money on some meme stock because you think you're smart all of a sudden. Whose fault is that? It's yours. It's yours. We're here to help. We're here to point you in the right direction. We're here to educate you. But the United States, it's a free country. Guess what? You know what? You have to be personally responsible. At some point in time, you have to own it. So, again, you get wiped out in one of these things. I don't know what to tell you. I was thinking about it this past week. There was a scene. There was a scene in the movie Rocky III where Clubber Lang is being interviewed by a boxing, played by Mr. T. Remember Mr. T? I can't be beat, and I won't be beat. And the boxing reporter comes up to me and says, any predictions about the fight? He looks at the camera. Prediction? Pain. Yeah. That's one thing we predict a lot of here. We predict a lot of pain. And guess what? We're right all the time. So again, you can either choose to listen to what we have to say and heed our warnings, or pain. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Don't go anywhere. Lots and lots and lots of stuff we got to go over on today's show. I got some mega rants coming soon to a theater near you. Don't go anywhere. Watchdog on WallStreet.com.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Hit the beat now.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this. Adam Newman. Remember Adam Newman, the co-founder from WeWork? Co-founder from WeWork. And we used to make fun of him all the time here on this program. Well, again, he's laughing all the way to the bank. He is. I think his settlement with SoftBank, I think, is like $500 million. $500 million. Again, all he did, he came up, it wasn't even an original idea. Okay, all he did was he took a Regus office company and made it fancy and served tequila on Fridays and some beer as well, and all of a sudden did the same exact thing, and it sounded funky, and he went out and gave speeches on how he's changing the consciousness of the world with what? His shared office space. Never made a dime. And they hyped this thing. And Wall Street loved it because Wall Street loves a story. But it's the thing, people. They're there to sell you something. It's a story to them. I tell you something. Back when I first started, I couldn't believe that they just weren't interested in teaching you about proper portfolio management and the right thing to do with your clients. You know, the whole training program was sales. And I remember them saying, what you do is you got to paint these people a picture. Paint them a picture. And in this picture, you put this and you put that, and then they believe. All of these companies, it was just a picture that Wall Street painted. And Newman was great, played the part as well. And he made a fortune. Made an absolute fortune. Again, I don't know how these people, it's weird. It's like a sociopathic type of thing. I wrote a column about that too. where you are able to just completely disconnect. Completely disconnect. Everybody listening out here, we've got our moral grounding. We don't sell our soul. Again, everybody, I guess, not everybody, but a lot of people have a price for selling their soul. Anyway, I've got to talk a little bit about this as well. There was a story made the news. David Portnoy, who I happen to be a fan of. David Portnoy, I don't read Barstool Sports, but I do he does those pizza reviews as well. Actually gave a great review to my godson's family's pizza place on the Upper West Side. But I also appreciate all the money that he was raising for small businesses and bars. Now, he got involved in the whole Robinhood day trading thing, and he went after the CEO of Robinhood. And he had him on his podcast this past week. And let's just say that there were some sparks that were flying at this point in time. However, much like David Portnoy still hasn't grasped how Wall Street works yet. And, of course, Vlad the Impaler from Robinhood, man, was he letting the bull excrement flow. Talk a little bit about this when we get back. Got to take a quick break. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. Become a part of the Watchdog on Wall Street family, our personal CFO program. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. We shall return.
The only man who is taking on the Wall Street establishment. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Anyway, welcome back, everybody. David Portnoy obviously doesn't listen to this program, and he should have. If he had listened to the Watchdog on Wall Street show, he would have known exactly who and what Robinhood is. We discussed Robinhood at length when it first came out and explained to everybody because, again, all the world was aflutter. See what they're going to do? They're not going to charge any commissions. Oh, my God, that's so awesome. And what do we say? It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. They're going to turn it even to a bigger casino. They're going to turn it into a video game. They're going to go out there and hit those dopamine little spots in people's brain to get them to trade more. They're going to be reminding people all the time, and that's exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. More trades that they can sell. No, Robinhood doesn't charge you a commission for your trade, but they will sell your trade to a hedge fund, some other power player on Wall Street, who will then be able to use that trade. They can front run that trade and manipulate the markets. That is what is done. Well, that can't be legal. Really? Really? You know what else is not legal is going out and shorting stock that you don't borrow, but that happens all the time too. I'm going to say it again. Everybody, pay close attention. I'm going to whisper it in your ear, okay? Wall Street is crooked, and it's rigged. That's right. I said it. But I've been saying this for a long, long time. You there in the back row raising your hand, because I know there's a lot of people being like, what the hell is he talking about? He owns an investment firm. He's saying that his entire industry is crooked. No. I understand the terrain. I know better than to take my clients' money and to put them at risk and try to trade against the big investment houses because they can wipe you out. You have to know how to handle the markets. And again, Dave Portnoy didn't understand. In the interview, he's going after Vlad. And Vlad, how could you do this? How could you do this to your customers? They're not customers. They're not. If you have a hot dog stand there in New York City, and you're giving away free hot dogs to certain people, are those people really customers? No. Oh, you might tell them that they're awesome and but they're not really customers. You're not making a living on that. You got to find a different way to do it. The customers were the people that were losing money on GameStop, the ones that had shorted the stock. They were the ones that were losing money. So when they pick up the phone and they call Robinhood up and said, listen, shut it down. You're going to shut it down now. We own you. We own you. Shut it down. Oh, stock drops. Cover the shorts. Everything's okay. That's what happened. You think that Maxine Waters and the other idiots in Washington, D.C., you think that they're going to do something about this? Are you crazy? Are you nuts? You got to be kidding me. Do you understand how entrenched in power these big banks are, these big firms are, many of these hedge funds are? They're running the show. And again, you need to comprehend it. You need to understand it. Robinhood might not exist. Okay? The name Robinhood might not exist, but let me tell you, will exist. That trading platform, that algorithm that Robinhood uses, that's what's valuable. Hey, no, they could shut down Robinhood. They could reopen under another name, and nobody would know. Oh, I got look at trades. Oh, there's more companies got free trades, and it's sending me texts every couple seconds, and I got all this proprietary stuff that's going to help me make money. You're going to lose. You are going to lose. I remember all that crap. Charles Schwab was selling that crap going back to the 1990s, and you've got this thing, and you got this alert, and you got that alert. Do you really think people are doing well by trading like that? You really think it's possible to trade against those big firms? I've watched it happen on all levels. Not what I mean by all levels, in different parts of trading. I watched it happen with currency markets and how they can go about. They have so much money. They make a couple phone calls. They can wheel on you. It's like calling up their friends and say, oh, look, they got these novice investors out there. Let's take them. Let's take them. They can front run your stops, your limits. They can do whatever the hell they want. I know this. And we deal with it. Don't go head to head with that. Anyway, it was interesting. Another one of the guys in regards to this whole thing was Citadel. And Citadel's one that, again, that's the big customer. That's Robinhood's big customer. They're cutting Robinhood big checks because Robinhood sells them the trades. The amount of money, ever take a look at how much money Citadel made basically taking on no risk. No risk at all. Again, I'm an Adam Smith capitalist. I am. I don't like the way Wall Street has conducted business for a very long time. I told you here on the program, standing there, my jaw, my mouth open when they repealed Glass-Steagall. And I knew that all hell was going to break loose. Anyway. Got to take a break. You're listening to the one, the only, the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Get to our website. Become a part of the Watchdog on Wall Street family. All sorts of great stuff there. In particular, our personal CFO program. Yes, you have access to us, our accountants, our lawyers, and we don't charge for it. Take advantage. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. We'll be back.
Don't be surprised.
Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
We've done some tough topics today on the program, but I have fair warning. Moving forward, show might get even a little bit darker today. Show might get a little bit darker today. Last weekend, I was with some friends, and we were talking about things that were happening in the country. And we started talking about the movie. I remember the movie The Sixth Sense. It was a horror movie. It actually got Oscar nomination. That's rare. I think Jaws got some. But anyway, it was an awesome, late 1990s that movie came out. I can't remember the year. Maybe 98, 99. I don't know. Bruce Willis and that little kid there. What's his name? That Haley something Osment. I can't remember. But anyway, Haley Joel Osment. That's it. And here's spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie, okay, you may want to close your ears for a second. Okay, spoiler alert. Bruce Willis, throughout the entire movie, is dead. Now, unless you were really, really paying attention, you didn't know that he was dead. And the funny thing is, he doesn't know that he's dead. And we were sitting around talking about this last weekend, and we said, is the United States of America like Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense? Are we dead and just don't know it yet? I've got three kids, and I have many listeners out there that have thrown in the towel. I've got clients out there that, again, they've thrown in the towel as well. They think the country is over. I can't do that. I can't afford to be like that. I won't be like that. I can't. And I will fight to the end for this country. And yes, are there things that I am seeing on a regular basis which disturb me to a greater degree? Disturb me in regards to the direction the country, the makeup of the country, how much more difficult it's going to be to become a success here in this country. Yes, and we will discuss them here on the show. It's the terrain. It's terrain. I've said this again and again and again. There are certain companies that I am invested in, my clients are invested in, that are protected. What am I going to do? Am I going to not deal with the obvious? In the sense that, well, this company is basically omnipotent, can't go under, it's paying a nice dividend, it's tied into Washington, D.C. I don't like that practice, but it is what it is. I want to move over towards, again, what happened in Texas. And I want to start off by talking about what happened in Texas. Do you know who was just confirmed? Who can tell me who was just confirmed as the Cabinet Secretary of Energy? If you guessed, or if you said Jennifer Granholm, come up and claim your prize. That's right. Jennifer Granholm, the former governor, state of Michigan. Now, you can go and you can take a look at her resume. Just go ahead and do it. Again, Democrats sending out tweets. I can think of nobody better to lead the Department of Energy than Jennifer Granholm. She has been a fighter and a believer in clean energy for such a long time. That's like me saying, okay, because let's say I'm a big fan, huge fan. Let's say I'm a huge fan of the New York Yankees. Been so my whole entire life. Just because I'm a huge fan of the New York Yankees doesn't give me the right to be the starting shortstop or center fielder, does it? Look at Jennifer Granholm's resume. She done anything in terms of throughout her entire career, anything at all? I mean, I'm sure she probably filled up her gas tank. I'm sure she may have paid an electric bill, an oil bill, maybe adjusted a thermostat from time to time. I don't know. Maybe started a fire in a fireplace. But that's about her experience when it comes to energy. Yet she is the United States Secretary of Energy. What took place in Texas, and I said it here on the program, and I said it on my podcast, a little bit of a reminder as well. You're new here to the Watchdog on Wall Street show. We do a daily podcast. You can sign up for that on our website as well at watchdogonwallstreet.com. It's available on all of the platforms. We keep it short and sweet. But, yeah, we've been covering what's taking place, and I'm embarrassed. Are you not embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed? Sebastian Maniscalco, great stand-up routine. Aren't you embarrassed? I'm embarrassed. How does this happen? We are the United States of America. Didn't we just put a rover on Mars? Didn't it just happen? Didn't we just put a rover on Mars? I can't tell you how many songs I have on my phone. We walk around with our pockets like gods, access to all the information, all the world's knowledge. And we can't make an energy grid safe in Texas. That's sad, people. It is. Oh, I know. And I heard this from certain people. Well, it was a once in a blue moon type of storm. They weren't prepared. They weren't prepared. The problem is, and again, I'm going to kind of delve off into a different. We talked about monopolies. We talked about the big banks. Is that when you have a system in place where it is almost a natural monopoly, and you get that with utilities. You get that with utilities. And again, I am not a big guy when it comes to that at all. At all. But in certain industries like that, water, power, guess what? You might need a little bit of regulation there. I'm sorry. You might need a little bit. There, I don't. And people throwing out, if Texas was only on the national grid, they wanted to do things on their own. Okay, wouldn't have made a difference. Wouldn't have made a difference. The surrounding states wouldn't have been able to supply the power. And you got a lot of people out there. They decided to do windmills, and they decided to do so. I know, dumb. If you're going to do that, you better have backup. You better have backup. Again, it's the United States, and we come up with some of the greatest stuff out there. Do a little homework on this if you get a chance. Just start doing your research when it comes to these mini nuclear reactors that we can develop now. Now, everybody thinks of nuclear reactors. You think of, those big, huge steam towers that are out there. They're kind of intimidating looking when you look at them, right? The Simpsons, Springfield's got the nuclear power plants where Homer works. Not the new ones. Not the new ones. The new ones, they look like little college campuses, for crying out loud. They're really kind of neat. That's the direction you want to head in. That's where you want to go. The way Texas set things up, okay? The way Texas set things up was the power companies, this is a fact, the power companies, the providers there, they can make money by supplying electricity to Texas customers. But they're not required to. They're not required to, meaning, guess what? The grid's going to go down, and the grid would have went down. They had no choice but to do the rolling blackouts. They didn't have a choice. But if they were forced to deliver electricity and they couldn't do those types of blackouts, they would have had to have prepared for this in a better fashion. Again, this is the United States of America, Texas. And they have to boil water all around the state. I'm sorry, people. We can do better. We can do better. We have to do better. We've got greater competition around the globe. I'm a child of the Cold War. And we compete against the Soviet, we really compete against the Soviet Union, the Olympics. Technology couldn't really compete with us. That we were told that they could, but they really couldn't. China can. Different type of communist right now. These are communists that are making investments all over the globe. They're putting up high-rises that are investing in ports. This is not the Soviet Union. They're investing in some sort of guerrilla war in Nicaragua. It's different now. Chinese people are smart. The people around the country are smart. And we better get with the program. Anyway, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Watchdogonwallstreet.com. Hey, you're going to sound off on this and send me some emails and disagree. I'm just telling you the way it is, people. Okay? We should be embarrassed. This can't happen. This can't stand here in the United States. WatchdogonWallStreet.com. We'll be back.
Dig your grave.
You should believe in math, not magic. You're listening to The Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
So there's a riddle out there. So what's the difference between Alan Greenspan, Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, and Jay Powell? I don't know. The shoe size? That's basically it. Little subtle differences here and there. Basically the same person. Again, the Federal Reserve this past week. And again, you'd be surprised. Be surprised how many people, radio station, television shows. Hey, Christopher, could you come on and talk to us about the Fed meeting? I'm like, why? Okay. I mean, I'll do a couple, but why? Why? You know exactly what they're going to say. Again, it's like another remake of King Kong. The monkey dies in the end. We know it's going to happen. They're going to say that there's no inflation out there. Everything is awesome, and we're going to just keep buying bonds, and we're going to keep printing money. Yeah, the Fed has become Sergeant Schultz when it comes to inflation. I see nothing. I know nothing. I see nothing. No inflation. Are you out of your mind? Out of your mind. Let's just put it this way, okay? And I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like an arrogant SOB here, but I'm much brighter than these people. Okay? You know what? Maybe brighter is a wrong word, okay? Their IQ, they might have a higher processor speed than me. They may have gotten a higher grade on their SATs than I have. But you know what? They don't know nothing about nothing. Nope. They're like Rosewood and Taggart from Beverly Hills Cop. Remember when Axel Foley was found coffee grounds at Victor Maitland's warehouse, and they had no idea that meant that they were hiding cocaine? What models are you looking at? Who are you talking to when it comes to inflation? I've got clients, listeners that are in every field out there. Everything is going up in price. I don't care if it's medical supplies for doctors or hospitals. Do you have any idea how expensive building materials have gotten? Have you even taken a look at timber, plywood? Everything is going up. Your grocery bill. A pickup truck, a Ford F-150. I don't think you can get one for under 50 grand nowadays. Home prices, I think I mentioned this last week, are at an all-time high. Home prices at an all-time high amidst a global pandemic. Yet the Fed tells us that there's no inflation out there. There's no inflation. Keep on. Our job here at the Fed is to get us back to full employment. We got to get back to full employment. That's what we've got to do. So, okay. So flying a helicopter over the United States and dropping, that's going to bring us back to full employment? We've lost our minds. We have. People, again, I'm going to give you another myth out there. I talk about conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom is poison. Narratives are awful. Narrative. No inflation out there. No inflation out there. Narrative. Oh, hey, this is great. These low interest rates are fantastic because people go out and buy houses. And they got lower mortgage rates. Okay, that's all well and good, but the price of the home goes up. There's an inverse relationship between those two things. You understand? It's gotten how bad it's gotten, how difficult it's gotten for people that want to save money. Well, you are holding on to cash. If you're holding on to cash, you are flushing money down the toilet. Is what you're doing. You're not getting any return on that cash. How many people remember back in the day the passbook savings accounts you used to have when you were a kid, and you would actually get some sort of interest on your money? Everyone's, oh my God, look at what's happening. Is Treasury, the 10-year Treasury just went up this past week. Went up. You're still losing. But you buy yourself a 10-year Treasury, you hold it to maturity, you've lost money. Amazing. The value of the dollar has dropped over that period of time. You've lost money. So who cares? It hasn't helped people. It hasn't. It's changed the way, and again, I know it's a little dark for some people. It's changed the way we work here in this country, our priorities. More money being flown toward CEOs, executives, stock buybacks. Why not? Hey, this is great. I can go out and borrow money for nothing. I can buy back our company stock, make the stock go up, pay our executives in stock. You don't think that this is a part of the problem where we have the wealth disparity here in the United States? You don't think that ultra low interest rates are a part of that? When you have something that is so plentiful, it's not respected, if that makes any sense. It oftentimes will be abused. For example, if you go to a buffet, and the buffet has got the highest grade, got Wagyu filet mignon and the best caviar and lobster tails and all this stuff. What is going to happen at an all-you-can-eat buffet like this? People are going to gorge themselves, is what's going to happen. And that's what we've got right now. You've got corporate America, people out there able to gorge themselves. And much of this money hasn't been invested properly. This, again, is a side effect. Ultra low interest rates. Money needs to be priced properly. They keep beating that drum again and again. The business networks, Wall Street Journal, all the Fed, all this is great. We're going to do this. We got to go big. You Fed buying mortgage bonds. You're going to go out there and buy mortgage bonds. Hey, that's going to help people, put people back to work. How? How is it that we can't get a single member when they ask questions? How is buying mortgage, how is that going to help put people back to work, Jay? Anyway, Got to take a break. When we get back, we got to get into this ridiculous stimulus package that's moving forward as well. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. I shall return.
Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street. Bringing America financial freedom one listener at a time. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Hey, I presented my 6 cents analogy metaphor earlier on in the program, and what got us on the subject, bringing up that movie and comparing it to America, was a stimulus package. It was a stimulus package. Nobody in Washington, D.C., at least most people, they don't give a damn about the consequences. They don't. It's all short-term thinking. I'm going to read to you something, and I know I did this on the podcast this past week, but this is telling. And this is an editorial board piece in the Wall Street Journal. The Biden White House is pointing to polls showing that its $1.9 trillion spending bill is popular. And the press corps is cheering. Yet we wonder how much public support there'd be if Americans understood that most of the blowout is a list of longtime Democratic spending priorities flying under the false flag of COVID-19 relief. I'm here to tell the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, you guys are out of touch, okay? Listen, I know many of you probably live in Manhattan, okay? But you're going to have to get out and about maybe a little bit more. I know Manhattan's seen better days, we know that, but you guys don't have a clue. People don't care. Republicans overwhelmingly support Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Why? I want my money. I want my check. Somebody send me money in the mail. They promised me money. This is what we become, people. And I'm being honest, I don't like it one bit. You honestly think that another $1,400 being sent out is going to bring back jobs? It's going to open up that restaurant that's closed down in your town. It's going to open up that clothing store. Are you kidding me? People are getting used to this. They are. They're getting used to this. And, send me a check. Send me a check. Yeah, the COVID bill. Look at the COVID bill. What did you think what they were going to do with the thing? What did you think that they were going to do? You put in there, hey, I'm going to send you $1,400. You better support this. Billions and billions and billions of dollars of waste and fraud. The stuff for the schools cracks me up. Because, again, what's the narrative? Nobody challenges these people. We'd open up all the schools. We just need the money to do it. Do you understand that upwards of $60 billion has yet to be spent that has been allocated already to open up schools? The overwhelming majority of the money in Biden's package is not going to be even spent until 2028. It's a racket. And you may want your check, but do me a favor, will you? Okay? Don't go calling yourself a conservative. Don't go calling yourself a Republican, okay? I was a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump twice. And you want this, huh? You want this? This is it's not going to do any. A little bit of money in this stimulus package for restaurant. I don't even know how that's going to be doled out. It's a joke. And who do we have? Who do we have as Treasury Secretary? Janet Yellen. We need to go big. We need to spend more. Yeah. Go figure. And you know what's interesting as well? I don't know if you know this. This past week, Biden laying the groundwork for another stimulus bill after this one. Yep. Green jobs. Green jobs and infrastructure. Yep. Another one. Again, we've gone to a whole nother level when it comes to spending. We can't tax our way out of this. We're certainly not going to be able to grow our way out of this. We're just not. Where is the money going to come from? Yeah, it's like watching a bad drinker, somebody who doesn't handle their alcohol well at a bar, and you're watching them, and they're fine for a while, but then you know that they're gonna have another drink. What is going to be that breaking point? What is going to be that drink? What's it going to be? This is getting nuts now, people. You actually even get your arms around the numbers that we're spending. Handouts and giveaways. Money going to states like my state of New York. Other states, Utah ran a surplus during COVID. Florida's fine. Many states out there handled this perfectly. Fiscally responsible. But no. You know what we're going to do is we're going to index state relief, federal money to states based upon how unemployment is. Meaning the states that did a really god-awful job and unemployment is high, guess what? You're getting bailed out by the states that were responsible. We are in the new era of irresponsibility here in this country. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Again, become a part of the Watchdog on Wall Street family, our personal CFO program. Consultations with us, the Markowski family, also our lawyers, our accountants, all the help that you need right there. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com or give us a call, 800-471-5984. We'll be back.
Taking Wall Street's liars, crooks, and cheats out behind the woodshed. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Yes, you are. Welcome back, everybody. It is the one, the only, the Watchdog on Wall Street show. I didn't mention this, and you most certainly are not hearing about this in the news. Again, doesn't fit the narrative. We've got to be happy, happy, joy, joy. Get your $1,400. Step right up. Step right up, and let's make government bigger. And you got to become more reliant on the government. No. Personal responsibility. That was so 1776. Not now. You know, billions and billions. They can't even get their arms around all of the money in the prior stimulus package, the other nonsense they've been putting out there that were swindled. I'm not kidding you. Con artists all over the globe. Yes, you remember the Nigerian prince scam, email scam? People are still in business. Still in business. All of this government spending, and again, you got people in government, they don't give a damn. There's not accountable. You can't lose your job. Nobody has to be accountable for anything. This was presented to me by someone. Said this is basically the Super Bowl, the World Series, March Madness, Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Finals, all rolled into one for con artists all over the globe. The United States handing out trillions of dollars. Billions and billions have been squandered. Anyway, again, everybody knows here on the program that we are, it's for small business. We always have been. And we do a lot of consulting for small businesses around the country. We did a lot of pandemic consulting for businesses around the country. We are always fighting for small business. Small business is the engine of job growth for the United States. It is what it is. Almost all new jobs that are created come from companies that are 5 years old and younger. That's it. That's the reality. Larger companies, older companies, hire, fire, it's a wash. Well, why am I bringing this up? There's a Democratic representative, Khana from California, that declared if you cannot pay your workers a certain amount of money, guess what? You don't deserve to exist. We'll get into that when we get back. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street. This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Yeah, listen, I'm brutally honest with everybody here on the program. It's just my nature, and you know, I can't lie to you. I'm you know, listen, I see a guy like Khana. Khana, he's never started a business, never run a business in his entire life. And he's talking about low-wage businesses, and they shouldn't exist. If they can't afford, you can't afford to pay $15 an hour to all of your workers, you shouldn't exist. And talking about people making the money off of what they produce. You know, I instantly, I want to start smacking them around. Remember Godfather? When Johnny Fontaine is whining when he shows up at the wedding because he didn't get the part in the picture, and he's whining about it, and Don Corleone gets up, starts smacking him. You can act like a man. This Khana's not a man. Who the hell are you? Who the hell, as I say, who the hell do you think you are? I don't give a damn. You're a representative. You're a lawyer is what you are. You're a lawyer for a short period of time that got to know the right people, that worked in the Obama administration. You're so enlightened. Oh my God, you worked for Obama. Oh, well, look at Obama and Bruce Springsteen are doing a podcast. Rather stick a hot poker in my eye, quite honestly. So here's this guy who's never built anything or created anything in his entire life. You haven't done crap. I don't respect you. Respect you for what? Because you're a government worker? You're a bureaucrat? I pay you. You work for me. You work for the taxpayer. Who the hell do you think? Where do you get off? Where do you get off saying what businesses should exist and shouldn't exist? Sure, you can say it. You have your First Amendment rights to do so. But most certainly, I'm thinking about smacking you around because you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue on how hard small business owners work, what's involved. The 100-hour-plus work weeks that never end. The sacrifices that you have to make throughout your entire life. You want a hero? I give you some heroes. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about essential workers. They're essential worker. Is there an essential worker? Actually, everybody's an essential worker. You own a business, you're an essential worker. I own a business. The people who work for me, if I shut my business down, they can't put food on the table. Does that make me essential? Makes me essential to them, does it not? You want true heroes. You want some real heroes in this country that never get any credit whatsoever? Small business owners, entrepreneurs. Most people don't understand. Most entrepreneurs, they've been kicked. They've been knocked down. They failed. They picked themselves up. And they moved on. I wrote a column about this over 10 years ago. When the boss shrugs. When I see these Khana types, these losers like Khana, I'm calling him a loser. Okay, go build something. You see that with economists out there too, the Paul Krugmans, the Alan Blinders, the the Fed. Well, we give you guys some money. You print a lot of money. Let's see you actually do the public a service and go out there and build and create something. How's that sound? Why don't you go out there and see what you can do? And again, I mentioned that would be the greatest season of The Apprentice of all time. I made that suggestion before Donald Trump was even. I said what he's got to do is he's got to bring all of these college professors. They would never do it because then guess what? More people would finally understand and see what I see, that all of these emperors don't have any clothes on. They finally see what we see. That's why they'd never agree to it. Imagine the Apprentice with Paul Krugman and Larry Summers and Khana and all these people like to tell us what to. Elizabeth Warren. And you give them some seed money, and they got to come up with their own business plan and run a business and see how that works out for them. No. You see, but the thing is, according to them, they're elitists. They're above that. How they're going to get their fingernails dirty? They're going to mop a floor if somebody decides to not show up to work? Come on now, that's not going. They're not going to do anything like that. You forget it. They're living in Plato's Republic. They're the leaders. They're the philosopher kings of the United States, and we should all bow down to people like them. I know. I'm going off on a bit of a rant here, but that's what I do. Bill de Blasio, another example. This guy would probably be one of the first ones thrown off the Apprentice. Bill de Blasio is appointed a recovery czar for New York City. A recovery czar. Now, did Bill go and find a successful business owner in the city? Maybe a restaurateur or something like that could give him some sound advice on how to get the city back on its feet and getting these businesses opened up? Hell no! Hell no! Bill found another bureaucrat, another government employee. That's right. Look, government employee Bill found. All right, Bill, you got yourself another government employee. This woman that he put in charge of the recovery czar. Oh, she's so experienced. She's in charge of construction for schools in New York City. And that makes her qualified for bringing back small business. How? You want to explain that to me? Anyway, got to take a break. Oh, you don't want to get back? I got to tell a quick story. I went to the city. Yeah, I did go into Manhattan. I can tell you what happened. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Take advantage of all the great stuff we have there at our site. Podcast, personal CFO program, you name it. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Be back.
Chris Markowski is the Watchdog on Wall Street.